The Florida Gators have set up another official visit for this weekend, this time with UCLA wide receiver Michael Sturdivant.
You are Locked On Gators, your daily podcast on the Florida Gators. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of Locked On Gators, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thanks for making Locked On Gators your first listen of the day. Every day we are available daily and free wherever it's in the podcast and on YouTube. Happy Thursday. I'm Brandon Olsen. Find me on Twitter at WNS_Brandon. Find all my written work with New York Giants on SI. Today's episode of Locked On Gators is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account. Use code Locked On College for $20 off your first purchase. And the Florida Gators may finally be making a move at wide receiver in the transfer portal. They set up an official visit for this Saturday with UCLA wide receiver Michael Sturdivant. And this is the kind of guy that we talk about where he's 6'3", 205, pretty fast, gets vertical. That's the kind of skill set wise, that's the kind of player that the Florida Gators are looking for at receiver this year. That's not a secret. It's been very clear that, hey, they want someone that's big enough to play on the outside. They want someone that's fast enough to get vertical. They want someone that can go up and win contested catches and just catch through traffic in general. They want someone that could do those things and someone that they think has the physical tools to be a legitimate wide receiver one in the SEC. They also want someone that has proven production. And Michael Sturdivant is an interesting case study on the production part of things, right? Because Michael Sturdivant in 2022 had 65 catches. This was at Cal. Had 65 catches, 755 yards, and 7 touchdowns. 2022. 2023 goes to UCLA, okay? And at UCLA in 2023, he has 36 catches, 595 yards, 4 touchdowns. So obviously his numbers took a dip throughout. I think a big explanation for that is going to UCLA where they wanted to run the ball because that was Chip Kelly's final year, and Chip Kelly wants to run the football. So there's the production drop off there. Then this year, 22 catches, 315 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Production-wise, the worst year of his contribution was this year. And I think that a lot of people look at that and see what his numbers were in 2024 and think, you know what? Not a good receiver to take in the portal. And this is one of those cases where, because again, we have the general guideline, the general baseline of you want guys that were productive at their previous spot, specifically productive in their last year, whether that's, being a starter or just being a key rotational player and being productive in that way, whether they're at the power 4, group of 5, whatever the level is, proven production at that spot, right? And you want guys who are very young and you can look at as extensions of the high school class. Obviously, Michael Sturdivant immediately does not fit that criteria. But when we look at the production part, we are talking about one of the worst offenses in all of Power 4 football, right? They were the worst rushing offense in the Big Ten. They were, I think, the 3rd worst passing offense in the Big Ten. They were bad. Eric Bieniemy was their offensive coordinator. He got fired or let go, whatever you want to call it. His agent says that it was mutual, that he was always just going to be here for 1 year. And I needed to reach in for Michael Sturdivant to see what it was from a UCLA perspective. So I reached out to UCLA source that I just texted them and I was like, hey, what's up with Michael Sturdivant? The inconsistent, because it's also, you look at his, I'll pull up his game log at UCLA because it's not just that he's inconsistent overall. It's not just that he's inconsistent, season by season. It's that every game felt like, a roll of the die. It was like, hey, he's either going to go off or be non-existent in this offense. And this year, you look at it, 8 targets 1 week, then 1 target, then 4 targets, then 1 target, then 0 targets, then 11 targets, then 1 target, then 3 targets, then 1 target, then 6 targets, then 4 targets. And it was interesting because you look at those games and, well, he had 11 targets, 7 catches, and over 100 yards and a touchdown against Minnesota. He had 6 targets, 5 catches, 117 yards against USC. He had his bigger games against some of the better competition that they played. And so when I texted a UCLA source, their response was, all caps, UCLA has wasted him. Okay? And just, throughout our conversation, reiterated that UCLA did a horrible job, specifically this year, of even putting him in position. And they also did note that he was dealing with injuries throughout the entire season, but playing through those injuries, but dealing with the injuries throughout the entire season, and that may have limited his production. But more specifically, the key point there was how horribly UCLA used him. Which, again, not surprising considering that their offense was in every level. Their offense stunk this year. I don't think there's any other way you could put it. Then this year, he also had a 5-yard carry, so there was that. But this offense was horrible. We've established that. Everyone has established that. And then this is the thing where you go, okay, well, the production's questionable. So we look at the film. And when you look at the film, you see a tall, fast guy that has no problem going up and getting it and fighting with defensive backs for the football. And that's where we talk about, well, what does DJ Lagway need? You also are talking about someone that are talking about a receiver that got better every year in key areas, right? He went from having 11 drops in 2022 to having 2 this year. That drop percentage damn near cut in half. You look at someone that has gone better through contested catches or catches in traffic. That's what we're looking at here. We're looking at someone that the outlier, right? He is the outlier to the production from 2024 rule. He's an outlier there. And again, the person I spoke to with UCLA was just like, hey, look, he'd be in the NFL if they didn't screw it up. And to me, I go, okay, well, that's at least at least a promising thing to hear, right? That, hey, like, he's good. We just screwed it. Simple as that. UCLA just screwed it. They mismanaged him. I guess that, after a rough 2023, it was probably like, hey, Eric Bieniemy's coming in 2024. This offense is going to pop off, and it just got way worse. And yeah, I think that quarterback play at UCLA was horrible, terrible, no good, very bad. And it hurt every receiver, by the way. But J. Michael Sturdivant was one of those, especially when you can't throw the ball deep, when that's kind of your calling card, right? So Florida will have him on campus this weekend. I do think that if he wants to commit, Florida would take that commitment immediately. So J. Michael Sturdivant, one to watch for Florida Gators fans. We are about to talk about 2 players that have hit the portal recently that I want the Florida Gators to go after. We'll talk about those next on Locked On Gators. Game Time has a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets to see your favorite teams play live even easier. So, hey, if you're anywhere in Florida or anywhere close enough to get to Tampa and you want to go see the Florida Gators play in a bowl game, you can do that. Yeah, the Florida Gators play in a bowl game next Friday, December 20th against the Tulane Green Wave. Should be at least a pretty good Group of 5 team, right? Or at least Tulane is a pretty good Group of 5 team. So it should be a pretty good game, assuming that there's not a ton of opt-outs. Tulane QB gone. But hey, worst case, at least pregame, Florida should win handedly, right? You should see a Florida Gators win to end the season. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets for the Game Time Picks. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code Locked On College for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code Locked On College for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? It's game time, baby. Next, we Locked On Gators, your first listen of the day. Every day, we are available daily and free reviews in the podcast and on YouTube. And we are going to talk about two players that are in the transfer portal and entered the transfer portal very recently that I want the Florida Gators to pursue. And the first one, a DB, which we know they're pursuing Zachariah Poiser. We know that they've done a pretty decent job of recruiting defensive back. But this is one of those guys where I just don't think you can pass him up like that. Tacario Davis, Arizona corner, hit the portal. Elite size, elite length. He's 6'4", 190 pounds, and his arms are long. Whenever he goes to the NFL Combine, we're probably going to hear something about 6'8" wingspan there. Like he's got long arms. And here's the thing. This is one of those players where you know what you're looking for, right? Or you know what you're getting with him. You're getting a guy that 1 year. He means 1 year. This is a 1 year rental for the Florida Gators at outside cornerback. And if you're going to add a cornerback in the portal, which I'm not saying the Florida Gators are, but I think that they should go for him. I think this is one of those players where he's just good enough where you just go get him. He's a premium player. Premium position player. Remember, premium positions, the building blocks that we talk about, those foundational pieces. QB, receiver, offensive tackle, outside corner, and pass rusher. Tacario Davis is a premium player at one of those positions that you know is a 1 year rental. And I want to keep harping on the 1 year rental thing because I think that matters a lot when we talk about the younger corners. Because every time we go out and get a great player at this position, I feel like we often hear, well, you don't want to force out the young guys, right? Like, you don't want to bring in a corner and then one of your 2024 kids feels like, oh, there's not a spot for me here. I'm going to leave. Having someone like Tacario Davis, who you know is a 1 year rental, I feel like that's an easy one to go, hey, it's just this year. You're still going to play. You're still going to rotate in. But either way, I think Tacario Davis is good enough where you just say, okay, we're going to go add you to our roster, add you to our football team, if possible, and we'll figure out the rest later. Young players should not be discouraged by the presence of Tacario Davis. Again, 6'4", 190, great size, great length. He can hang and bang with everybody. Physical defender. Like he can do anything that he'll be asked to do. Pretty good ball skills. 1 year before he goes to the NFL. That's it. If a young guy goes, hey, I can't wait a year, that's kind of on them. I'm going to be honest with you. I think that if you have any young player that wants to leave because you bring in an elite player at their position, I would not care that much. Unless it's someone like DJ Lagway. Because I just look at this team and I say, Florida's window is now. Like Florida's national championship window is right now. You need to invest in guys that get you better right now, make you better immediately. And Tacario Davis does that. Okay? That's what we're looking for. You look at the film, you look at the numbers, whatever you want to look at, he's good. Okay? He was good last year, was elite in 2023. Drop off production-wise in 2024. And I don't fault him for that. Like, you look at the film, and he's really good on film in 2023 and really good on film in 2024. But the production falls off. You look, and he's allowing more catches, right? You look at those, and you say, okay, well, maybe he's a little worse. And then you take all the context matters here, right? As Florida Gators fans, we can think back to 2023 and say every player in the secondary sucks, right? They're giving up huge completions. They're giving up this. They're giving up that. Gators fans know what it's like to have or what that could look like for a defensive back when you've got a defense that's bad at rushing the passer, right? Like Gators fans know what that looks like. In 2023, when Tacario Davis was in Arizona, his pass rush was way better, right? They had 235 pressures in 2023. You look at 2024, that number drops by 70 almost. Okay? That number plummets. Their pass rush got significantly worse. Because don't forget, a lot of their team left when Jed Fish left for the Washington job. So Tacario Davis is one of those players where we can look at him and we can say, all right, I understand why his production doesn't look as good. Again, his film still looks really good. But production-wise, that's the answer for that. But he's a good corner at a position where you've had injuries pile up. I mean, 2024, you look at that, and it's just there's so many young guys playing more snaps than you thought they would. Triquez Bridges played more snaps at corner than anybody thought he would. A lot of it changed. A lot of it looked different, right? From 2023, when your pass rush got better. Like we went, oh, everybody's playing great in the secondary in 2024. Good part of that was that the pass rush was also performing significantly better in 2024. Tacario Davis is a guy where I get the production drop off. You look at the film, he's a really good corner. He is. He's going to be maybe late day one, maybe day two NFL draft pick. Yeah, I'll take him. Go get him. He just hit the portal. Go get him. You can add him, start him, play him early, play him great. And also when you've kept adding these taller, leaner corners that Florida has been adding, the Cormanis, those kinds of guys, having a player like Tacario Davis ahead of him to help him learn, especially at that size, it's different. You know, if you're talking to a 5'11 corner teaching a 6'3 corner, because a 5'11 corner can't tell you how to use that length at 6'3. A 6'3 corner can't tell you how to make up for being undersized because that's not something he's had to do, right? Having someone like this absolutely helps you a ton, and the Florida Gators should continue to add on. One more defensive player that I want to talk about today. We'll talk about him next on Locked On Gators. Get ready to tackle the NFL action with FanDuel, America's #1 sports book, because right now new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if you win. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to place live bets on the NFL all in one place. So when you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats, if you live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. Just visit FanDuel.com to join today. You'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. That's FanDuel.com. Never waste a hunch and make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. Thanks for making Locked On Gators your first listen of the day. Every day we are available daily and free, wherever it's in the podcast and on YouTube. And I need everybody to just hear me out for a minute here, okay? This is a hear me out moment. Need you to just hear me out for a moment. I have said that the Florida Gators need to add to their edge room in the portal, in my opinion, right? I've said, hey, with Jack Pyburn here or with Jack Pyburn gone, I have said the Florida Gators should add a proven pass rusher in the transfer portal. I understand Jack Pyburn's gone. We could touch on that for a second. Again, we spoke about it yesterday. Here's the thing. The demands that came out, I forgot who reported them, were pretty consistent with the demands that I had heard. And it's roughly $540,000 per year. So $540,000 for 2025. Guaranteed starting outside linebacker spot. Guaranteed third down snaps. Guaranteed pass rushing reps. And to do that would have been one of the worst roster management decisions that the Florida Gators could have made. Okay? Would have made him one of the higher paid players on the roster. And not for nothing, he's not a good pass rusher. At all. Not a good pass rusher. I would not guarantee Graham Mertz the ability to run the read option, right? He's not good at it. I'm fine with not guaranteeing that. Also, those reps are earned. look at his pass rush reps. The only thing he's earned is to not be on the field on those pass rush reps. So I will say that about the Jack Pyburn situation. It's nothing against him. It's just a fundamental disagreement of what you are worth in our eyes and what you are worth in your eyes, and they're not even close. So as far as that goes, so be it. That's fine. You know who I want to replace him with, though? Ben Bell from Texas State. Ben Bell from Texas State is one of the more productive pass rushers in the portal. He's entered the portal. Not much of a size difference between he and Jack Pyburn. He's an inch shorter than Pyburn and like 5 pounds lighter. So even then, proportionately, really not that different. But you look at Ben Bell's production, and first off, Jack Pyburn's production for 2024 was 8 pressures, right? 8 pressures. Ben Bell had 9 in one game. That's what we're talking about. That's what we're talking about. Ben Bell had 9, and I know I said Texas State, but Ben Bell had 9 in one game against a college football playoff team that has a bye. Ben Bell had 9 pressures against Arizona State this year, okay? So we're looking at someone that had 23 pressures this year. Ben Bell had 23 pressures in 2024. That would have been 3rd on the Florida Gators' entire defense. Ben Bell only played in 4 games. Do you get where I'm going? The Florida Gators need a pass rusher. The Florida Gators need a proven, productive pass rusher. And don't forget what we're looking for in the portal. Proven production, looking to take a step up into the SEC, whatever that may be when you're at the group of 5, which Ben Bell, Texas State, group of 5. So the next thing is, okay, they're looking to take a step up into the SEC, prove it, so NFL teams can see him do it against them. Great. So you add Ben Bell. That's what you get. He's looking to go to the SEC. Played in 4 games in 2024. And in those, 3 of them were against group of 5 or power 4 teams. And he had 4 pressures, 9 pressures, 6 pressures in those games. Not even like he just bullied Lamar University. I don't know what classification that is. FCS, I'm fairly certain. Not even like he just bullied them. He had 4 pressures in that game, but he had 4 against UTSA, 9 against Arizona State, and 6 against Arkansas State. That's a pass rusher. Okay? That's the guy that you get. And you say, hey, you want 3rd down reps? You go get Ben Bell. 23 pressures this year. 3rd on the team if he was a Gator, and he only played in 4 games. 9 pressures against Arizona State, a playoff team. And then he got hurt. And then he redshirted so he could hit the portal. My assumption is when he got hurt, someone reached out to him and they were like, someone from a Power 4 team or multiple people from Power 4 programs, more likely, reached out to him and said, hey, what if you didn't come back? He came back for one more game later in the season because they needed him to, and then he redshirted the rest of the way. A proven pass rusher at the group of 5 level that's productive as hell. Productive as hell. 123 pressures in his college football career. 53 in 2023. And again, 23 in 2024 in just 4 games. Incredibly productive, dominant pass rusher. And guess what? He's a pretty good run defender. He is. You look at the film and he's a pretty good run defender. And guess what happens when you look at the film also? You see him dropping back into coverage. Something he's done a good bit. So you're looking at someone that is a proven pass rusher at the group of 5 level that has dropped back into coverage, that plays that stand-up edge rusher role, that's also a good run defender. Yeah, I'll take it. I'll take it. If I'm Florida, I'm going after him. This is one of those players where I'm planting the flag and I'm saying, I don't know if Florida's going to go after him, but I think you need to. I think he's one of the best edge rushers in the portal right now, if not the best edge rusher in the portal right now. You go get him. Another one where 1 year, you got him for 1 year at a position that rotates frequently, all that. You could split that playing time. That's fine. You get him for 1 year before he tries to go to the NFL. This is your window. You've got DJ Lagway for 2 more years. This is your window. Invest. Ben Bell, one of those guys that you can invest in. And hey, he's worth $550,000, right? He's worth more than that. Go get him. Florida Gators, Ben Bell. You should go get him. Need to make it happen. Thanks for making Locked On Gators your first listen of the day. Every day we are available daily and free wherever it's in the podcast and on YouTube. We'll be back tomorrow. Talk more Florida Gators football for Locked On Gators and Brandon Olsen. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter at WNS_Brandon. Find all my written work with New York Giants on SI, and I'll see you all next time.